The Lightworkers Handbook, Lesson 1, Discovering Your Spirituality. Greetings, dear ones. I am Kryon of Magnetic Services. I am aware of where we are. This is a temple built to honor the majesty of the human being. This is a place that is sacred, honoring what is intuitively known about the magnificence inside each of you. It is a place that is dedicated to the love of God, to the love of humanity, and the compassionate teachings of peace on earth. It is dedicated to peace inside. So let it not be lost on any who are listening or reading this that this is a sacred place, and this is where we begin this message, a perfect place for it. When you have this situation, you have energy that emanates even from the chairs you sit in. There is the energy from the walls, from the floor, from the very stones that are here, and all that they represent in their power and synchronicity, singing the same song. The elements know who you are. Oh, dear ones, is that too esoteric for some of you? Because some of you are overwhelmed, perhaps, with the energy of the entourage that floods into this place, not even being aware of the other entourage has always been here. The elements that have gone into the building of this place know who you are, and some of them are old, culled from the forest that are older than you are, yet they know who you are. You see, you are a piece of God, the angelic realm, the creative force of the planet, and they see you differently than you see yourselves. They don't see what you see in the mirror, for they feel an angelic presence has entered the room. They wonder what the angel conclave is today that would bring such an energy in here. They hear and see your magnificence. They're singing a grand song, and you can't even hear it, but I can. I always can. You don't even know who you are, really. And it's designed that way, human being. The design is one that calls upon your free choice to come up with answers. The task, as you sit in a chair, is if you can awaken spiritually to the point where you can chip away at the wall that separates you from God. It is called the duality, and it represents the free will of a human being, ready to tear down an invisible and elusive wall, one that is unseen to many, but that is part of spiritual awareness. It is a wall, when broached, that will then reveal the secrets of life and why you are here. And that, dear one, is what we want to speak of tonight. So let's make some things perfectly clear even before we begin. First, I am Kryon. I know where I am, and I know what has transpired in this place, and I am in awe of it. There is a purity within the guidance for those who have built this and the things that are taking place here. There are lives that have been saved here. I tell you what that means in a minute. I speak to a group of old souls. There is no first-timer here. Every single one of you has been here before. All of you have an Akashic record that is lengthy. There are Lemurians in the room. There are those who have come out of the mystery schools into the room. I have shamans in the room. There are profound healing techniques in the room, and there are those who have healed themselves in the room, and those who want to be in the room. Let it be known, dear human being, that you have placed yourselves in this temple with free choice. You have the ability to walk out of this place differently than you came in, every single one of you, no matter where you are on the path. Synchronistically, you have created a situation for yourself, and so here I am. So I say to you, may the solutions be brought forward to what you came for, and the knowledge be yours of the questions that are on the top of your tongue, for they are personal, and they are unique to you and your path, and they are ready to be dealt with. Indeed, it's a good time for healing. There is no better time, and you have come to the right place. There are many on earth who are awakening. Be aware of this. As ancient as you all are, some in this room have only just discovered the premise of awakening to a grander God. Many have felt it indeed. They knew somehow that they were spiritual beings, but they come here brand new, never having heard anything about what we speak. We have the big picture, and we know who you are. Each time you arrive on earth, you get to examine if the esoteric things are for you or not. Many of you seem to have been born into these kinds of examinations of the esoteric. Early on, you rejected what was given to you as the spirituality of your family, or the way things work, and you pursued your own course, some of you at the expense of your family's love. You see, I know who's here and who's reading. Don't you think we walk the walk with you? Don't you think the angels were there during the disruption and frustrations? Don't you think you saw the tears? Don't you think we were there when you cried out for help? We were there. I know who's here. Humanity awakens in different times and in different ways. The old souls on this planet are starting to awaken en masse due to the shift that we have been explaining for almost 2 decades. But so many of them do not know where to turn or what to do. They get excited and ask, where's the beginning of the information? Where's the knowledge? How can I get up to speed? Where's the primer I can turn to? I have given my partner Lee much information now for 18 years, given much like he is doing today. He sits before human beings and he speaks my communications, translated into this language so it's comfortable for him and readable by you. These are the words of Kryon, and through that period of time there has been so much covered. Much of it is graduate information, and much of it is core information, all intermingled depending on the group that is sitting before me. But for one who is awakening in this massive shift, there is no primer, no starting point, no premise to build a basis on. Truly, you could start at Kryon Book 1, which I asked my partner to name The End Times. But that was a cryptic time for him, and he was learning how to channel. He was not within the meld with me as he is now. It was also communication for 1989 and not today. So the message was not as clear as today, not like it is now. It was not as personal, not like it is now. So today we embark upon a task that I have told my partner we would do. There is to be a multi-chaptered primer that may never be a physical book, but which has a name like one. It shall represent instruction sets for those who wish to start at the beginning. The channeling this evening, therefore, will be a core information, Lesson 1, that takes the reader to the beginning of this new energy and all that goes with it. This is where it begins. This is where the human will come to discover the premise. This is also what some of you need as a refresher, for there is some information that you don't know that will be presented tonight. So we say it begins, and this channel, which has been transcribed, is one we wish to call the first chapter of the primer. We call it Realizing Your Own Spirituality. Truth, the basis for belief and action. Before we even begin the teaching, we have to discuss a premise we have discussed one time before. What is truth? In your own reality, within the perception walls you build around your mind called 3D, there are absolutes in truth, in math and in science. When you begin to break those three-dimensional walls down and get into the system of interdimensional things, and especially spiritual things, all the rules of reality change. So what I'm about to tell you, you may not sit well with all of you, for you will weigh them in a 3D way instead of a multiple D way, because of the way your mind works. Truth is relative to your path and is multiple. Many will immediately say, Kryon, we don't like that. There has to be one truth, for truth sets the stage for the direction of the human search for God. Therefore, there can only be one truth and only one God. Does one God mean one truth, or could you indeed see many roads to the one God? When you get to the other side of the veil in death, don't be shocked to find others there who are not part of your church or your truth. Instead, there are many truths, and with pure intent. They are all passionate roads that lead to God and the family of God. For those who demand there only be one truth, I'll give you one. Indeed, there is a generic truth, a core truth, and it is this: that at the center of every atom in the universe of yours, you will find the love of God in a personal way. That's the core energy. That's the truth. But you might say, well, how sweet. And I will say, oh no, I'm not talking about sweet. I'm talking about physics. There is an energy at the core of every atom that makes things work. And when you remove the energy of God, it all collapses. You might say it's the space between the electron haze and the nucleus of the atom that keeps things moving and separated. It represents more than you'll ever measure, more than you'll ever know. It's basic physics, and it's the love of God. That's the core truth, and scientists are on the verge of realizing it. They will call it something else, but there will be the realization of an intelligent force keeping things running. Here is a definition of truth. It is when a human being marries his heart to the passion of God and creates discovery. It is an acknowledgement of a personal search, if you wish, without knowing anything more. It is a willingness, with free choice, to find out about God inside. That's truth, so therefore you have multiple truths as you go around the room from multiple human beings. But again, a human doesn't necessarily like that. You say, well, there must be one truth, one doctrine, one building. And we say, well, how 3D of you. The linearity of your existence has been placed on God, and you have decided to make a 3D God. This then matches your human experience. Don't you see how limiting this is? It is the cartoon character coming to life, stepping off the 2D page and meeting a human. But he screams in confusion and frustration, seeing 3D for the first time. He can't cope with it and doesn't understand it, for it doesn't make any sense. Therefore, he returns to his domain on his page and draws humans in 2D, so he can make sense of it all. You are then rendered as a 2D drawing due to the limitations of the observer. Inside each of you, you will discover the family. This family is the intuitive group that makes up the whole of God. At the core of the family is the same system of interdimensional workings, and it comes from the love of God and the compassion of what you call spirit. Therefore, your truth is what you are doing when you follow your passion to create manifestation in your life. What most human beings do not and will not understand is that this system is the glue between your many truths. It's difficult to explain in 3D, isn't it? But between the multiple truth of your quest for what you're supposed to do is a glue of knowledge and synchronicity, all working together with the potential of the system to make things happen in 3D. There is more than it seems here. The beginning premise. So let us begin with the premise. You are not looking for a doctor, and you are not looking for a prophet. You are stepping off the page of 3D belief, of following others within a generic box of belief, and are instead risking the idea that God is far bigger than anything you've ever been told. You're looking for what you are here for, and the premise is that the search will reveal to you not only your own path, but also that you are part of a grand system. It's an interdimensional system of how things work and is intuitive and shared by others all over the world. It's innate, meaning built into the cells of humanity. It is magnificent and will also reveal God inside you to the extent that you can become your own prophet, your own master, revealing divinity within your own eternal existence. It will bring you to the realization that you have lived before, and that this is absolutely a staple of the system, not odd or weird, but rather a wise observation of how it all fits. It will fly in the face of those who are steeped in a 3D mythology given to them by those who existed in a far less enlightened time and energy on the planet. Do not be critical on yourselves if you do not then follow what you are told by another human being or organization, by what they think is appropriate spirituality, for their truth is different than yours. Their search for God is different than yours. Blessed is the human being who searches for God in any way at all. Blessed is the human who sits ready to go and who says, God, tell me what it is I need to know. I want to chip away at the wall, the duality between 3D and multiple D. I want to chip away at the wall to find my own magnificence. I know it's there. I can feel it. Show me the path to my own revelation. When a human being is following his truth, it's his passion for God he is discovering. It's a path for his own personal discovery to find God in his life. That's truth. It's diverse since there are so many individual paths for humans. Each human being is spiritually unique. One is working on abundance issues, one is working on health issues, one is working on self-worth issues, and one is battling fear. Many of these paths are a result of the past experience of humans on Earth in different expressions or past lives, creating the vast differences of personalities at birth, their strength and challenges, their many phobias and their gifts. Do you see how you cannot create a spiritual box and ask everyone to get in? The new energy and what happened. And so the journey begins. What is this new age all about? What is this great shift? We start at the beginning, and the beginning is not all that far in the past. In your time frame, it is only 1987. That's all the further I'm going to go back, because that is the beginning of this energy, the one that allowed Kryon to manifest as a teacher, and everything before it was an older, denser energy. It was an old energy whose prophecies have dropped away. Did you notice the earth energy is different today? The old energy represented an earth that is now gone, if you've noticed. So this information is for the one who is studying this for the first time and needs to hear it from the beginning. In 1987, an event occurred that was unique in your history. It was called the harmonic convergence, and also later called the 1111. What was unique was esoteric. The earth had reached a vibratory rate of spiritual neutrality, where the future could go either way. It could be pulled to a higher level, an interdimensional level, or wallow in the old prophecies of doom and Armageddon. Out of your linear time, and hard for you to understand, all of the higher selves involved in the system of Earth were polled. All the human beings that have ever been on the planet, are on the planet, and potentially will be on the planet, were asked this question: do you want to go through with the old energy prophecy, the potentials of the old, or do you wish to move into the new energy that the ancients told you was coming? It is an energy that is not in your current prophecy, something that will create peace on earth, something that will create work for the Lemurians who are here and the old souls who are here. It will create spiritual lighthouses who will awaken in large number. What is your choice? And the answer was, we want to go forward. And as dramatic proof of this esoteric event, almost overnight, within a few years of this event, the geopolitical structure of the planet changed and morphed into something nobody expected. Against all odds and all prophecy, countries who were powerful players of the old end-time scenario changed greatly, the Soviet Union in particular. You were suddenly looking at a reality that no one had prophesied. No Cold War, the very thing that had created 50 years of turmoil, fear, and had no foreseeable end, had suddenly terminated itself. The time for the scheduled Armageddon came and went. Then you received a challenging event in 2001 called 9/11. It was not in prophecy, not in Nostradamus, not in scriptures or revelation. As I told the United Nations group 2 years ago, the 9/11 event will affect 2 generations of what your leadership does here. Don't you think something so important would have been in your old prophecies? This is proof that you're in a new future, and so we say again. The harmonic convergence of 1987, along with the harmonic concordance in the following years, are bookends to the changing, shifting energy that you've created all by yourself. Now here you sit with a totally new energy. So if you're reading this for the first time and you want to know what it means to you, read carefully and listen to the logic as it goes forward. Here you sit in a changing earth, one that was never prophesied. You might say, what do I do to make the difference, and how can I shift? And I will tell you, especially if you are new, the very act of asking the question is shifting the earth. Blessed is the human being who asks, what can I do? What is next? For by this act of compassion for the planet, they are showing within their own selves that they have started chipping the wall. Is that you? If so, then you are asking for the steps of ascension, are you not? Yet I'm not going to give them to you because there are no steps. Or perhaps there may be one, begin. And so we see that the human being who begins the journey of asking, how do I chip away at the wall, already has the pickaxe in his hand, already is working the puzzle, and already some light is showing through. The changing system of karma. I would like to again explain what is happening regarding karma. This is an old spiritual process that will always be with you and the planet Earth. It is described very succinctly within some of the oldest belief systems on the planet, still true to this day. It's an energy system that will be in place and will operate all by itself, just like so many other things about the energy of life. Even if the human being does nothing at all to see it or recognize it, it is still present and will affect what the human does. Important. Individual humans are not predestined to do anything on Earth. There's no predetermined path or predestination. Instead, by default, they are predisposed to follow a karmic path that they do simply because it's there, and they come into the planet with the emotional equipment to follow it automatically. Let me explain this. So many things are in the works at this moment, including your own free choice, not to have free choice. You're in a battle right now, and indeed, if you allow consciousness to shift into a backward situation, even an enlightened, vibrating earth can have free will dictate that it will no longer have free will. It would be like taking a vote not to allow any more voting. That is how powerful you are. You are angels, and you can create whatever it is on earth that you wish to create. The darkest dark and the lightest light are both on your palette of energy colors. Whatever it is you wish, you may do. It is a critical time. Things have changed. The old prophecies of what you were told would happen have dropped away and been replaced by free choice of the moment. The Mayans have given you the information that 2012 is the beginning of the upsurge of a vibratory change in the planet, a new beginning energy. It has an 1111 energy. Indeed, the 2012 is alive with 1111. The 1111 that many of you see on the clocks is all about the promise of the 2012 transition into a more positive energy, the beginning of a new paradigm. You may very well sail into 2012 with the ability to have the earth support you in a way that it never has before. Changes are afoot that you know nothing about, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Every human being who is born into this planet immediately gets a karmic imprint. He comes in and delivers his crystal into the cave of creation. The crystal is a memory energy that aligns to the crystalline grid. It is a part of Gaia, and Gaia, therefore, knows he is here. So it is with all of you. When you come into this planet, karmic energy is deposited into your DNA, and you start the energy there. Karmic energy is an energy that is part of the system that we speak of, that is Earth life force. This is the one where the human being chooses no esoteric path, but just follows a groove of existing karma, created by past energies and expressions on the planet with others. Often humans are born into a place where they were the last time. Often they follow their family's direction, or whatever their family does, they do. If their family are farmers, they are farmers. It's the most natural thing for them to do, and it's an easy decision. It's like a road that is wonderful to walk on without rocks, so this is their karmic path. This path often takes them into challenge because of what has happened in lives that happened before. Often it will redo and undo itself as karmic energy unfolds. Many of the energies of the yin and yang are then manifested. It is true indeed that what goes around comes around. And that is all part of the very old system under a very old spiritual vibration, one that is automatic. But it doesn't have to be yours. Listen, for this is where it gets good. In 1989, I began telling you that in this new energy you had the opportunity, if not the demand, to get out of karma and get on the road of your own choice. For as an old soul, one with magnificence inside, you have the ability to get out of the groove. You can take that old karma and place it aside and replace it with something far higher in energy, an energy with intended spiritual direction for you and the planet. You would say, I wish to make my own creation, my own reality, and not the old setup of karma I came with. Have you heard the phrase, creating your own reality? And this is what it means. And the harmonic convergence gave you that power. In 1989, I arrived with my partner and we started channeling that you would create a situation where you void your karma and move into your own free choice and create the life lesson that you came for. We spoke of an implant, which we never speak of anymore. We never speak of it because now we've reinterpreted to mean the implantation of permission to get out of the groove. You implant yourself with passion and truth and you move forward, out of karma and instead into a place where you have choice of the energy that you create through pure intent. Karma is interesting. Here is something you haven't thought of, human being. The profundity of karma. I'm looking at souls in this room. In this room where there are 8 of you who are alive today because you got out of karma. Had you stayed in the karmic groove that you were born in and done the things that everyone wanted you to do and followed the karmic road, you wouldn't be here today. This is because your potential karmic appointed you with death, would have taken you. you would have been in the karmic place and time to experience your potential death. But because you popped out of the groove and manifested your own life experience, all the karmic attributes of your death fall away. Now here you sit, in charge of when you come and when you go, 8 of you. And here is where human puzzles us on my side of the veil, because I just given you the truth that is powerful and joyful, and you should celebrate it. You ought to build a statue right now to the death you move past, but you don't. You don't know what didn't happen, do you? Well, I do. Who is it who is in control over death? What have you been told about this? Who is the Grim Reaper? Well, no matter what you've been told, I'll tell you who the Grim Reaper is. It is the human who decides never to look for God. It's a human who just shows up and plays no part in his destiny, just walking the path of karma, including wandering right into his death. There's no judgment of any humans who do this, only a report of what it is. But 8 of you would not be here sitting in the chairs had it not been for your leaving the road of karma. Congratulations, family, for you know what this is all about. So for the beginner, we say that you can move aside the karma you were born with and start creating your own reality. This is a new gift with this energy. It allows you to move into the consciousness of a new kind of human being who chooses their own destiny. Some call it ascension status, a move into an energy of creation itself. So the next question, of course, is, Kryon, what do I do next? The answer is the hardest thing of all. Have patience with the system. Humans don't do that well. Patience for the system to catch up to your choice is needed. If you are new and you're just beginning to understand and hear this message, the first thing you're going to want to do is to go and climb the steps. You're going to want to do something with your knowledge and your passion and your excitement. You wish to do something in 3D. The old paradigm has you doing something physical in order to manifest something spiritual. It's been in your history and it's part of your mythology. But that's not the way it works in this new energy. We know who you are and what you're attempting to do. Every truth is unique, and your truth may be to start a ball rolling that is going to get you finally from point A to point B. You're starting to see your life lesson, and you're starting to awaken and realize the old soul that you are. Many who have just begun to feel this in themselves feel like they have purchased a ticket for the train, and they therefore expect the train to show up soon. Well, I'll tell you, the tracks aren't even built yet. Don't despair, dear one, for you've started the process. So while you have patience, you start studying and learning what it is inside of you that is different than what you thought. And the best place to start is to look at the masters of the planet. For the masters of the planet are the ones you are to emulate, because that is a new tool of this age, mastery. Mastery is the voiding of karma and the passing of an old energy lifetime and moving into another while staying in your own body. The tools for it lay upon the grid. The tools for it lay within the crystalline. The memory of the planet is actually shifting to accommodate a master who has your name. There are many who are awakening, many who are doing things right now that only the masters of the old could do, and they've done it for themselves, and it's commonplace. And by the way, it's what they teach here in this temple where you sit, and think about it. And so we say to you, emulate those masters who walked this planet before you did. What did they have that you don't have? The first thing is, absolutely nothing at all. All of them were human beings. They were not super creatures, and they were not born different than you. The one who said he was the Son of God was very clear about all this. He said, I am the Son of God, and so are you. His message was about manifestation, to help you to understand that the magnificence that he had inside him was also yours. It didn't sit well with his culture and his age, and the conquerors of his land killed him. I want to tell you that what he showed you is what you can do with mastery. You can change matter. You can rewind a clock in your DNA. You can create healing that is beyond what you thought you could ever do. And it comes right from the higher self inside of you. The energy of the masters is with you, and the only reason they came here was as examples, so you could see it and do as well. The return of the masters of Earth. There are those who teach that the masters are going to return to the planet, and someday many religions on Earth claim this. Some look to the skies and they say, it's coming, a time when the masters are coming back to save us. They pin all their hopes and their desires on this, and they sing songs and they hold services, and they expect them to come back. Here's what I'm going to tell you. The humans who do that do not understand, do not see the reality of what has occurred. For the masters of all returned, and they sit upon this very place. Wherever you are, they are here. They are part of the structure of a new magnetic grid, and they are here in spirit, not in body. They are here to enter you if you wish, in a way that will create healing and manifestation and solutions in your body. Darkness will run from the light when you decide to open the door and let it in. That's the way God uses men and women on this planet. So if you're new and you're looking at this, I am telling you that the Masters showed you what is now possible. The harmonic convergent is what allowed this to be, and your choice as a human being is to look into this or not. The new grid and its unseen backup system. There are backup systems you may not even be aware of. This information is for those who are just awakening, who would like something beyond the veil. The crystalline grid of this earth is the memory of the planet. It is part of what you would call Gaia. The crystalline grid of this planet is now the active grid, and is the slate that you write energy on as you move forward. It is absorbing everything that you do as you walk from one place to another. The crystalline grid knows where you walked and that you've made impressions in the dirt. For the grid knows humanity. Any human being who is spiritually awakened on this planet is known by Gaia. Light emanates from your intent and voids your three-dimensional aspect of reality. There is a backup system to the crystalline grid of this planet, a memory system. The crystalline grid will never be destroyed. Yet there are systems that could be applied to the earth by humans and mankind, which would disturb it in a way that would void the integrity of the whole. It might break the chain. Too much electromagnetism placed upon the earth in an obscure way could damage the integrity for a time. So there's a backup system, and it's alive, and some of you need to know what it is. It will always be with you, and that is the whales of this planet. You love dolphins, don't you? Ask a biologist about them. They're really smart whales. So when we speak of whales, we mean all of them. What other mammals on this planet is protected by over 80% of the countries on Earth by treaty? None. For intuitively, the human race knows that these are creatures who are majestic and must remain on the planet intact. It's a backup system, and it's very special. Now you know the secret of why you feel about them the way you do. Summary. Is it possible that there's more than you were told going on? What does your intuition tell you about your own purpose on this time? The harmonic convergence did a whole lot more than just shift the energy of the planet. It gave you permission for an enlightened state, and now here you are. There's always a 3D question. What should I do now? Blessed is the human who feels it at the heart's level so strongly that they will say, I will do this journey, I will find the truth. For understand that the very process of discovery creates light on this planet. You're not going to join anything or belong to a human organization. Instead, you are personally going to begin to ask about yourself. We use the metaphor of light and the darkness often. It's the best one we have. Truly, at an energy level, your curiosity is opening doors and making the planet vibrate higher. Less than 0.5% of humanity must awaken for this planet to change permanently. That's because it doesn't take much light to quench the darkness. You've got almost 7 billion human beings, most of whom will never awaken and not interested in this. The vast majority are in survival mode and only concerned about the next meal or their very lives. But you have the privilege of concerning yourself with the esoterics, the spiritualness of life. You actually hold the light potential of the planet. It's important that you understand that the system you're unaware of knows of your awakening. The system that you're unaware of knows that your eyes are on the pages or your ears are hearing this, or that you sit in this room right now listening. The system knows of the lighthouse that you will become, if not already. Later we will define the system and tell you how it works. The universe knows of this meeting. That's how profound it is. Hard to believe indeed in your 3D reality that such a thing could be. Now let us address those who want a little more. If you're one who is new, I will tell you that there are riches here. As you chip away at this information, you find out more about you and your DNA, your abilities, your mastery. You could change your situation and solve the problems in your life. You can conquer fear. You can develop self-worth and pull upon the Akashic records of your own existence, pulling to yourself the things you need. You can go to the well of your own spirituality and become the shaman you may have been not too long ago. You can become a magnificent healer if you choose, or one who meditates and shines his light on the planet every day. Whatever you choose to do, whatever your passion is, it's why you came today and why you are listening to this. And the next step is one of trust. Make no assumptions, no assumptions. Move forward with patience, and then we'll discuss the next chapter. The next one to be given is living with your own duality, the difficult one. That will be given next in the series. Shamans in this room disguised as ordinary human beings. Isn't it time you open that jar of your shamanship? Yes, you're supposed to be a healer. You knew that all along. It's not too late. It's why you came. I am Kryon. I'm not going to say goodbye. The energy of the entourage remains here, where it will be dispensed tomorrow in ways that you will not be expecting. For in your time frame, tomorrow brings some things that you need to hear that I will give to my partner through the day, even out of channeling. Things that you need to hear about you and yourself, about duality, about what's next. You're never alone. No matter what you think, we're always here, and that is the truth. You don't know who came to see the moon today, do you? I'll see you again, family, like I have many times. I am the energy you see when you come into the earth. I am the energy you see when you leave. Some call me the gatekeeper only because I am Kryon, lover of humanity. I'm not really the gatekeeper, for that is a mythology, but I am the one who stands at the gate of your life when you come and when you go. And so it is.